And welcome back to another episode of the Devpreneur. Today we are joined, Tom and I, by local developer celebrity Daniel Miller.
If you haven't heard about him, his name's Daniel Miller.
Yeah, that's basically all you need to know. Anyway, we're going to be chatting with Dan about the project he works on when he is not writing code for Tulip Retail. Tom and I both met Dan at Tulip. Tom and Dan still both work at Tulip. Anyway, we're going to jump in. So Dan, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the project you have been working on.
Yeah.
Bad start. You don't want to start with a cough.
Okay. All right, so I'll start that over with no cough. Hey, so my name is Daniel Miller. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm primarily a backend developer. I do full stack, and a bit of background about myself. I went to University of Guelph for software engineering for 4 years. Finished that program, and I've been at Tulip Retail since. And I'm here to talk about what I do outside of Tulip Retail. All right, so we got a couple projects. Most of them don't make it off the ground, but which one should I talk about today, boys?
I don't know. I was mesmerized by your performance. I mean, it's just going so well. So I don't want to get in your way.
Oh, so you thought I knew what I was going to say. I have no idea. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, talk about whatever you want. We usually talk about on this podcast, and we'll talk about it a little bit after you. Just kind of like the stuff we did over the last week, just to keep it easy.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like whatever you were hacking on over the last week, like why you decided to build certain features, like whatever you feel like talking about, why you decided to use a framework, how you're thinking of doing sales for something.
Yeah, sure. All right. So I'll start with my favorite one right now. So my favorite one is eSpotlight.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So that's my most current and favorite is eSpotlight. So a bit of background of what it is and why I chose to do it. I'm a big esports fan, huge into the game of Dota. So to kind of mesh the realms of computer science and my interests, I decided to speak to a few esports teams to kind of figure out some of their problems.
Yeah, and you were a pretty good Dota player at one point, were you not?
I was. Like
kind of like top around 1% kind of deal.
Yeah. So you hit that point, and at that point, because I was in the realm where I wanted to become a professional Dota player.
Yeah.
So and at that point, you understand that 1% is actually very far from pro. So you kind of have to make the choice at that point to say, hey, do I want to commit my life to this right now?
Yeah.
Or if not, then it has to just be for fun. So
and you still just wonder what could have been, you know? It probably haunts you when you go to bed every night.
I could have just dove in, man. I wouldn't have met the Charlie boy in the.
That's true, and that would haunt me at night. You know, I just feel like there was something missing.
Yeah, so I feel like I made the better of the two choices.
Well, I certainly think so.
Yeah. Back to that. So I ended up talking to a few teams, DMing. I think I probably DM'd about 150 to 200 teams.
Yeah.
Like about, hey, I like to build esports stuff. I talked to you about like your day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
I got about 2 responses.
Okay. Wait, so how many, so are these emails?
Twitter DMs. Twitter is big for esports realm.
Okay. So did you say you sent 150?
Yeah.
And you got 2?
2 responses.
Holy shit. That's kind of rude.
It's very rude.
I guess these are busy guys. Or maybe they just still haven't checked because they're practicing so hard. They're on like a 4-week practice binge and haven't looked up from their screen.
They haven't. They probably haven't.
Okay, well, it's cool that you got the 2 responses. I'm assuming you started kind of a conversation with those 2?
Sorry?
I'm assuming you started a conversation with those 2 people?
Yeah. One of them didn't trust me enough.
Okay. Why didn't they trust you?
They felt like I didn't understand the problem enough. They're like,
Oh, okay. That's kind of a bummer, especially since you, I mean, I guess you never went pro, but you
yeah,
certainly played it like, or I guess you played games in like the competitive space for long enough that you would think you
yeah,
kind
like,
of got enough of it. I don't know.
but it's like, hey, bozo, it's like, that's why I'm trying to talk to you because I don't
Yeah,
understand.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Your players aren't going to stop and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think you're gonna meet many software developers
/ professional Dota players.
professional Dota
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
So I think you need some collaboration there if you wanna
Yeah.
really hit it. So
So
the
you
one
couldn't turn that one around. So you just had to let that one go.
Yeah, I didn't even get a good vibe from them either.
Okay.
Like it wouldn't have worked. I felt like we were already bumping heads in that first conversation too much, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, it's not a great start. It'd be hard to
Yeah.
recover from that.
Mm-hmm. So my apologies. I forgot the name of the one team that actually gave me the response. Oh crap! What is their name?
Make up a name. Make up a name.
Won't see this anyway.
Like the Lightning Jacks.
The Lightning Jacks. All right, so they're called the Lightning Jacks.
I love that team name. That's a great name.
So they're a little small organization. They have teams in the Dota team. They have a Dota team, a CS:GO team, and I think an Overwatch team. And I thought what I found was their biggest issue was providing data to their sponsors. So
the sponsors could kind of like see what they were getting from the players, like in terms of view count and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so they could see what they were paying for. Gotcha.
Exactly. They would have to go across Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, collect all the data for a single player, for a single team. And it seemed like it was a daunting task.
Yeah.
I actually came up with a big list of stuff that I could solve, but I'm decided to drill down on one problem to start and solve that really well. So this is the problem. And so pretty much what I decided to do is build like an automated export tool where you could register register your team, register the players.
Yeah.
And then configure weekly exports as a CSV.
Okay, and so you could share that data with your sponsors.
Exactly.
So they could know the dollars per eyeball they were spending or whatever metric they wanted to track.
Yeah. So
I think it's I know we've talked about it offline, but I think it's a great idea. I love it, and it's a hugely growing space. I could see it being incredibly useful for like any sponsor, just to kind of get a rough gauge for what exactly they were paying for, so they could decide how much to pay instead of just kind of like shooting from the hip and guessing. Presumably some of them do this calculation, like kinda, but like maybe they don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you're talking to the Lightning Jacks.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of feedback did they give you? So they liked the idea. They thought there was space in the market. Did it influence any of the features you've decided to build?
No, like that's the only feature I've decided to build.
Okay.
I'm still in the process of building it.
And you're using Go for that, right?
Yes, Golang.
And you're gonna go get them.
I'm gonna go get their data in Golang. Probably not the best choice of language to do it in.
It's definitely it's not a batteries included kind of language. It's actually like it's built to be the exact opposite for performance.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like you have to include every piece of the library that you're going to use.
Yeah, it's very lightweight. So if I wanted to pick the optimal language to do this, where I could do this as quickly as possible, it would definitely be Python for sure.
Hey,
like Python.
Hey now.
Hey! I'm sorry for you, Ruby fans.
Put some respect on Ruby's name, Dan.
I'm sorry, but Python wins this one hands down.
Yeah, whatever. I guess you're doing a bit of data stuff, maybe. So maybe there's some helpful libraries in Python for that.
Yeah.
So
and performance really isn't where my bottleneck is going to be here for sure. So
yeah, but if you do scale to 1 trillion, like you're ready for it.
Exactly. Exactly. If I do, but even if I wanted to, I could. It would probably be the best option to do a Python initially and then rewrite it in Golang if I ever had that issue. But
Yeah, but
I'm
you just want to use Golang because you like writing in Golang.
exactly. So it was more of a learning thing. I decided I want to learn Golang.
Well, I think that's cool. I mean, if you're trying to get two benefits out of it and you're willing to sacrifice like development speed a little bit for the other one, then great.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I guess next steps. Once it's because right now it's kind of like just command line stuff.
Yeah.
Get a GUI on top of it, and then allow managers to go in there and do their own stuff. But now it'll just be my little tool, and I'll give them the output.
Oh yeah, you'll just work directly with them, and you'll just send it to them like once a week or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to get started. I also like that you started with just kind of like the engine that's pulling all the data, like the command line tool.
Yeah.
When I was building Clientelify, before I put a GUI on top of it, I did the same thing. I'd never really done that before, where I like completely finished an engine and then layered a GUI on top of it. And it was just such a pleasant way to get something done.
Yeah. Because I've also made the mistake in the past where I've tried to do too much at the start.
Yeah.
And it turns out I actually was solving a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So,
I've been there.
I'd rather start lightweight, fail quickly, and then move on.
Yeah.
Failing will feel a lot better if I haven't put that much into it.
Totally. Totally agree.
Yeah. So that's the story of Dan Miller. Yeah.
Fantastic with the lightning jacks and all. Shout out to the lightning jacks.
Yeah. Thank you, Lightning Jacks, for responding to my email. I appreciate it.
I Googled Lightning Jack, and apparently it's like a Western comedy film.
Is it?
Paul Hogan, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Beverly D'Angelo.
Well, shout out to them.
That's the team. That's the guy.
Yeah. Those are the people Dan was talking to.
Yeah. Like Hulk Hogan's pretty cool, you know? He's also not too bad at Dota too. It's great. It's great.
That's right. Yeah. The commentary while they play is really funny. Dan, why don't you tell us about your week? What are you working on? What are you hacking on?
Like for the upcoming week.
Oh, sorry, I meant Tom. I had a late night last night, guys. So I'm running at like half speed here. That's why my camera's off.
We're gonna ask you to get on camera after this, off air.
Yeah,
so
we can
prepare yourself. Yeah. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
I want to see this ensemble.
the damage. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Not now. I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
I don't think the world's ready, Tom.
Yeah. Let's see. I think for the past week or a couple of weeks, we talked about, we talked about this, but like I was putting together a course like a month or so ago, and decided to open source it, I guess, or put it out there as like a long form article. But now I don't remember if we talked about it, but I remember like the minimal amount of marketing that I did around that got some people coming to it, and a couple of people started registering for the what do you call it? The email, the drip email sequence, right?
Great. Okay.
And so it was like 5 parts, and what was interesting was a couple of people, like 1 or 2 people, signed up for it, and you could see open rates and things like that. And what one person opens a lot of was the last email, which was your determining your SEO like game plan or tactic. Game plan, right? Like your strategy. And so this person kept opening it, right? And so to me that was like, oh, interesting. Like this guy's like interested in this. So now I'm starting to put together something called SEO for SaaS. And it's going to be targeted towards software developers who want to, get their traffic up from 0 to like 1,000 per month organically, consistently. Yeah. And so, just kind of putting that together, because I'm starting to notice that's kind of what I talk the most about, and what people come to me to talk about. And like this was just some random person, and the email was like, yeah, they opened it like 7 times just to read the contents of the email. I was like, okay, it seems to be like, I know it's one person, right? But it's like, this seems to be the trends that I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's a good signal that there might be some interest.
Yeah, so I'm like putting together like a what do you call it? A list of I guess topics, and then I might do the pre-sale thing where we put it up, you know, buy it now pre-sale at the pre-sale price for cheaper, and then when it gets launched, it's there for you, but obviously at a cheaper price. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting approach to this, because for the most part, you know, I've been building things and like assuming that like people want it because it's already in the market, which is not a bad approach. But you just got to kind of do your due diligence to make sure that it's fine. But yeah, this would be an interesting learning experience to see what's going on.
That's cool. I'm excited to hear more about that.
We'll see. And you, what's up with Charlie?
Oh, my dear boy. Many things.
Oh boy. Oh my God.
Yeah, so for me this past week, I mean, I think it's been around a week and a half since we talked. But over the last week, I added some functionality to Clientelify, so you can add scheduled messages or appointment reminders to appointments. And so when you're creating or updating an appointment in your schedule, and any user can do that on a team. So if it's a user on a team of 1 or a team of 10, they can add an appointment for any of the other users. You can basically create a text message sequence. So you could, you can easily configure the messages to send an appointment reminder or any template you create or use, like 1 day before the appointment, then 1 hour before, and then maybe you want to send a thank you 15 minutes after, and then maybe you want a final check-in like a month after. And so using drop-down lists, you can select the template you want. You can select if you're going to send it before or after. You can select if you want to send it before or after in hours, minutes, days, weeks, months. And yeah, it's just like super, super simple to use. So I added that. The first couple of users I have really liked that. I sent a video to them. So hopefully that'll be enough to get a couple of them across the line. And then other than that, I just got started on sales and polishing the blog, because the blog for Clientelify is released as a separate Rails engine. So you can just bolt it onto any Rails project. The reason I did that was because I didn't presumably I'm going to build something in the future in Rails. I don't want to have to do any blog stuff again. And there are some plugins you can use. I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of them. They just didn't have exactly what I wanted. And I didn't really want to have to use a subdomain or just set up a redirect to a WordPress blog or whatever. I wanted everything in the Rails app. So yeah, I was just kind of updating the engine, adding a couple features I wanted. And so I think I have one more thing to do for that, which is just the meta images for blog posts. So there's a nice thumbnail on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, social channels. And yeah, just doing cold emails. So I sent around 50 cold emails. Only got one response, so I clearly need to work on the email.
What does it sound like or look like right now? Just curious.
Yeah, I'll read it.
Do it.
Let me just pull it up.
Pitch it.
Just need to find it. Okay, so the email is, hey, and then placeholder for first name. My name is Charlie, and I'm the founder of Clientelify. I'm emailing you because I'd love your expert advice on the product I've built. And then in brackets, clientelify.com. It's for RMTs like you. I was reaching out to registered massage therapists. And then semicolon, I'm a new founder, and I'd really appreciate input from someone with industry experience. And then it's just asking, are you available at whatever time on whatever day for a 10-minute call? If not, what time works best for you? The 4 questions I'd like to ask you are attached above. I hope you're having a great day, Charlie. And so the idea with that was like kind of partially trying to flatter someone, being like, oh, I want expert advice. But also it's not super focused on sales, because any feedback I can get is super valuable to me. Mm-hmm. So the idea being, how many people can I get on the phone? And then I'll get feedback from all of them if they're willing to get on the phone, because I've seen the questions. And so that will be useful to me. And then maybe some of them will want to buy it, maybe. But I can kind of gauge that based on the questions and the conversation. So I get a lot of value, like anyway, like regardless of if they buy. Yeah. And I think it's also easier potentially to get someone on the phone, as long as you're honestly just going to ask them questions, which I was. I think it's easier to get them on the phone if you are looking for advice versus you're trying to like sell them something. People don't like being sold stuff.
Yeah.
With that in mind, it's not super personalized, obviously. So I think that's part of the reason why I'm getting a low response rate, but I also need to just tweak some of the wording. And it's also possible. So I was sending emails to people that are like registered massage therapists in Ontario. And I was starting at the beginning of a list. And I think those are all the first ones. So I think a lot of them don't work anymore. So I'm going to start from the end of the list and go backwards. Because I think those people are probably the ones that were like registered the most recently and are probably the most likely to still be working. So the one response I did get, the person was like, I'm retired. And I was like, oh, great. Like, congratulations. Do you have any friends that might be interested in getting on the phone?
That's funny.
She did not answer. So clearly she didn't, because if she did, she obviously would have sent them to me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's what I've been working on.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Clientelify has been live with the new hot landing page for like a week and a half or something.
Let me see.
Yeah, I have a couple tweaks I want to make to the landing page. Like most landing pages I've seen, they don't source their stats, but I'm going to source them because it just feels right. Because I have stats that are kind of, depending on your screen size, either a little above or a little below the fold. So I think I'm going to source them.
Yeah. Solid. Yeah. Nice page.
Thanks. Yeah. I think I spent a day just like redesigning it, and then a day throwing it into like HTML, CSS, adding a little bit of JavaScript for some flair.
Yeah.
The features part of the page is still, it's a little wordy, a little boring. I have screenshots, but they're kind of small. I think I might change the screenshots to GIFs of me like clicking through the app.
Yeah.
It'll just make it a little less boring and a little easier to see exactly how the app works. But yeah, I think it's good enough. It's good enough for now.
Yep. Get it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I don't know, Tom, if you have anything else you want to chat about that you've been working on, or Dan, if you have anything you want to add about the lightning jacks.
Where'd he go? Uh-oh.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I turned out, like, my battery is actually running low, so I turned off my camera to reserve some, and I actually don't have my charger here.
So we might lose you.
Oh no, I have my second laptop ready to switch out. Open side by side.
Well, I think fortunately we're done. Unless you have anything to add.
Yeah, actually, something else I forgot to mention that I started last week.
Okay.
I'm documenting my developer journey.
Oh, great.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I forgot about this.
Yeah, so I'm going to be sharing that under the handle Dan Can Code It, and that's going to go across Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Okay.
So Tom introduced me to the no 0 day concept, where no matter what, I get there's no days where I can make no progress on my own project. So not including Tulip's work.
Yeah.
And what I do is I record on video through my webcam, like my face and screen share, and I just record my coding session, and then I'm gonna do some edits, post some tips on my page, just open up. Just open it up to the community.
That's cool. I like that.
Share some tips. What it's really like to be a developer, like like that. A lot of people just don't know. Like they think like you're writing a bunch of code, but like most of your time is like debugging stuff and yeah. So I'm gonna just see where it goes. If I can build a little community around it and engage with my audience and build my brand,
That's cool. I've been wanting to do like a weekly vlog. That sounds kind of similar to that. But I really like it when people kind of build in the open and just make it super transparent what they're working on, how they're doing it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Well, where can people find Dan Can Code It? Will it just be on Twitter? What's your Twitter handle?
It's Dan Can Code It. Yeah. Twitter. Same thing across Twitter, Instagram. I don't know about Facebook. I don't remember if I actually made the Twitter one.
Okay. And it's presumably there's not a website yet, so it's just going to be on like the social channels.
Yeah, just the social channel.
That's cool. Okay.
But yeah, I guess if I didn't make the Twitter one, hopefully no one steals Dan Can Code It before I can get it. But I think I have it.
I'm taking it right now. I'll sell it to you.
$10 million, I'll take it.
I was going to say 10,000, but if you're willing to pay that much, sure. I mean, with a swanky condo like that, look at that plant.
Oh yeah, you gotta get a nice close up of this. Look at that.
Oh,
look at that.
Nice.
Fancy, huh?
There's a spider in it.
Psych. And then on number 2, there's the fancy plants.
Oh yeah,
that's nice.
Look at that.
I got them from a local person in, where is it? Kincardine, pretty far away, but
yeah, there's that's one of the few places you can surf close to here.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I got some nice beer up there too. I had a nice little brewery up there.
Okay, when did you go up there?
A while ago, say about 4 months ago.
Did you go with your girlfriend, or who'd you go with?
Yeah.
Do you guys do a day trip, or did you stay up there?
I was visiting her sister.
Okay.
My sister lives out there. She moved out there for work. So
what does she do?
I don't know. So hopefully she doesn't see this either.
She works for the Lightning Jack Brewing Company.
Some project management somewhere. I don't know the company, but
okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Dan. I'm sure we'll have you on again soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, what a performance. Wow. I mean, you just can't teach that. That's instincts. And yeah, for everybody tuning in, we will be back next week.